And this morning, President Obama plans to sign an executive order aimed at eliminating the pay gap between men and women in the federal government. Census figures show in 2012, the average American woman earned only 77% of what the average man earned. And the White House staff isn't doing much better than that.
We have, as an institution here, have aggressively addressed this challenge. And obviously, though, at the 88 cents that you cite, that is not 100, but it is better than the national average.
All right, welcome back. Tim Carney, of course, talking about the fact the New York Times out with a story today, which we've known about for quite some time, that this study released in January showed that female White House staff members make on average 88 cents for every dollar that male staff member earns in the White House. And of course, there's Jay Carney saying, well, you know, it depends on what their level of education and how long they've been working and if they're leaving to go have a family. Well, that's what the 77 cents on a dollar figure is affected by as well. But it didn't stop the president from doing this today. Give a watch.
Equal pay day. And it's nice to have a day, but it's even better to have equal pay. And our job's not finished yet. Equal pay day means that a woman has to work about this far into 2014 to earn what a man earned in 2013. Think about that. A woman's got to work about 3 more months in order to get what a man got.
Okay, he's trying to explain it. Joining us now is Star Parker, founder and president of the Center for Urban Renewal and Education, also known as CURE. Hey, Star, how are you?
I'm doing very well, Steve. Good being with you.
Well, welcome aboard. Okay, so, you know, I mean, I don't know, hypocrisy, idiocy, chutzpah, what is it when he's out there talking about this when his own White House is if anybody's guilty of it, his own White House is guilty of the same thing?
Right, and it can be all of the above, or what my newest book project is, blind conceit. It is not unusual for these politicians, especially the left wing, to exempt themselves out of absolutely everything they think is good for everybody else. I remember when last time we had the debate on minimum wage law and increase, Nancy Pelosi got caught trying to exempt out American Samoa because her husband is well invested in a tuna business,
right.
and they have all the tuna canneries down in American Samoa, so wouldn't want them to get the minimum wage increase now, would we? And so the Republicans at that point said, no, if we're going to do it for the whole country, we're going to drag American Samoa in as well. And the only tuna cannery that was still left there, because of the hostility of the left and their excessive regulation and taxation, the only one that was left American Samoa, and it just skyrocketed unemployment on that poor little island. So, yeah, this is not uncommon. What Barack Obama is doing in this election year is continuing War on Women Part 2. He pulled together his whole convention and squeaked back into the White House based on the War on Women rhetoric. And so now that they have this whole idea that they can win on this message, he decided he's going to take it into the economic realm.
Not only is the White House as guilty on this phony issue as anybody else, and they're using the same excuse to explain it, which are legitimate, that I have presented and others to say that there isn't, as we just discussed. But in fact, the labor force, it's women in the labor force who are suffering. Last month alone, 180,000 fewer women working than the month prior. And the job market for women is hurting more overall than the general public. So, you know, but you know what, Star, it's good for you and me to talk about this. Where the heck are the Republicans talking about all this and saying exactly what you and I are saying?
Well, they're Johnny-come-lately a little bit, but I think on this one, as with what happened with Obamacare, he's going to end up eating his words because, as you just pointed out, Steve, the unemployment rate with women is skyrocketed. This is not the time to get them out of the workforce totally because you're starting to go again after their employers. Women are underpaid, if you will, according to their numbers for a variety of reasons, as you've pointed out. Some of them, frankly, they just leave the workforce. Some of them are because they don't want the pressure that goes on that next level up, and they'd rather spend time with their families. So what is the assault is on the decision-making ability of women to take employment of their own choice, negotiating with their boss for whatever earnings they will have, and leave the government out of this. As usual with the left, they know better. Uncle Sam knows best, so they're going to try to interject themselves yet again in a place that will hurt women more than it's going to help them by sending them in more numbers to the unemployment line. I don't know where the Republicans are on this one. I think that they should be very outspoken, but I think that they are under the impression that anything they say against this administration is going to be counted against them in the elections, and they are miscalculating on that, but I think that that's their strategy.
Well, they better wise up, because they tried that. They tried not saying anything bad about Obama with McCain and with Romney,
right.
And we saw how that worked out. And you mentioned Obamacare,
right.
how this is going to backfire like Obamacare. You know, I read a story yesterday. I live in New Jersey.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, me too. With Christy, I know.
No, actually, he's doing pretty well. I just wish those taxes would come down.
Yeah, it's outrageous. Well, but I'm a good person, because I am now paying the tuition discount for illegals in my state, because Christy says he found the money. I know where he found the money, in my pocket. That's the big conservative, Chris Christie.
Well, you can't move across the line, because then you're in New York and it's worse. But anyway,
I know.
You were going to make.
but tons of kids from middle-class families just lost their health insurance for like $240 a month. They had eye coverage, health coverage, dental coverage, and because of Obamacare, this is direct result of Obamacare. I forget the name of the specific program. We talked about it yesterday. They lost it because it didn't meet the Obamacare standards. Because you see, these little kids and their parents were too stupid to know that they had subpar plans, and they were idiots for taking those subpar plans. So Obama said, wipe out those plans, and now you got nothing. Isn't he a hero to them? I'm telling you.
Well, insanity, just doing the same thing. But I think that where the Tea Party kind of missed it when they called him a socialist was that he, in fact, is a communist, and these are communistic ideas. Who is it that said that communism is just socialism by force, or socialism is communism without the force? Well, this is force. So this is no longer socialism. This is, you're going to do it our way or you're going to pay. You're going to go out of business if you don't do it. You're going to bow your knee to Nebuchadnezzar. You're going to pay a tax to Caesar, or you're going out of business. And the people that, you're right, he's hurting the most are those that thought him as a hero, put a lot of hope in his change message, and found out that change is going to come to bite them. But we ought to not be so joyful in these changes, because what we're going to see next in the rhetoric and is that we need a single-payer system. This is the reason why, because what we're going to see in those 7 million that did sign up are those that are just above the Medicaid threshold, but just under that living responsible and free. So we have to buy it on the free market. So we have to continue to push the idea into the general public that you want freedom of access. I think that it might be a blessing in disguise that people are losing their health insurance in these record numbers, because we should have, as a country, had a debate a long time ago about whether it's a good idea to have a third-party system. Should people pay for their own? And if the whole thing collapses and we have to rebuild it, we perhaps then have an opportunity to build it on a free market model. So while it is very discouraging, especially when I opened my envelope and saw my insurance doubled, and this is happening all over the country from those that are paying on the open market, it might be a good,
a blessing in
uncomfortable,
disguise.
but it's going to be uncomfortable for a long time.
Well,
but it's a realigning going on. What I want to do, though, let me make one more point.
I'm out of time.
Connected.
I'm out of time. I got a hard break. I'm sorry, but it was great talking to you, and we'll speak to you soon, I promise, okay?
Okay.
All right, Star Parker, ladies and gentlemen, president of CURE, Center for Urban Renewal and Education. When we come back, it's Gimme 5 right here on the Steve Malzberg Show on Newsmax Television.